सर्वार्थानाक्रमे गुरुर्ब्रह्मा गुरुर्विष्णुः गुरुर्देवो महेश्वरः गुरुः साक्षात् परं ब्रह्म तस्मै श्री गुरवे नमः। जगद्गुरु शंकराचार्याणां श्री 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 कांची कामकोटि पीठाधीशानां श्री शंकर विजयेंद्र सरस्वती स्वामिपादानां चरणनलिनयोः मनसा साष्टांगं प्रणमामि।
If you see in Kashmir, right, so they have one Puranam called as a Nilmat Puranam, and that is not included in our 18 this thing. 18
Upapurana, very popular Upapurana in Kashmir. Suprabhatam to all, Subhodayam to all. Both are same, Subhodayam or Suprabhatam. Once again, we are going to discuss on Puranas, how Puranas influenced on our life, religious life, cultural life. That part we are discussing now. See, there are Puranas. Some Puranas are called Mahapuranas. The number of Mahapuranas is 18. There are Upapuranas also. Upapuranas are many. Even today we are getting some new Upapurana. They are all in manuscripts form only. In various manuscripts, from various manuscripts libraries, we are getting all these books. So far, the number limit is not fixed of Upapuranas. So many Upapuranas are there, and in some places of this country, Upapuranas are more popular than Mahapuranas. As just our friend mentioned, that some Nilamata Purana, which is very popular in Kashmir than other Mahapuranas and other Upapuranas. So like that, there are Upapuranas, and sometimes same name for Mahapurana and Upapurana also. For example, Skanda Purana. Skanda Mahapurana is there, Skanda Upapurana also is there. So some Nadi Mahatmyas means related to rivers. For example, for Krishna Nadi, Krishna river is there. For Krishna river, 30 chapters Mahatmya means about Krishna, 30 chapters book is available in the name of Skanda Purana. But in Skanda Mahapurana, it is not there. So where it is there? So it is with Skanda Upapurana. So sometimes we may get confused. So you have to check thoroughly and decide whether it is Mahapurana or Upapurana. So like that, Upapuranas are also very popular. And 80 Mahapuranas we discussed, and we discussed how Puranas are facilitating Vedic lore, and what is the definition of Purana, and how many Puranas are there, and the classification Satvika and others, and how Puranas are important to know our cultural and religious history. We discussed all these points. Now, among 18 Puranas, the last Purana, the final Purana, is Srimad Bhagavata Purana. Srimad Bhagavata Purana is the last work, considered the last work of sage Vedavyasa. He started with dividing one Veda into 4 and 4 Vedas into many shakhas. He started with that work, and he concluded his work with by producing Srimad Bhagavata Mahapurana. The final, that is the whole, we may say that Bhagavata is the encyclopedia of all Puranic lore, because this is the final work of Vyasa's wisdom. Vyasa's wisdom shaped into this form. The final work means that is the ultimate. After that, there is no another Mahapurana. So, Garuda Purana praised Bhagavata Purana. See, we are getting some information about one Purana from another Purana. So now Garuda Purana praising Bhagavata Purana. How Garuda praised Bhagavata? Arthoyam Brahma Sutranam Bharatartha Vinirnayaha Gayatri Bhashya Bhutosau Vedartha Paribrumhitaha Purananam Sarabhutaha Sakshat Bhagavatohditaha Granthoštadasya Sahasraha Srimad Bhagavatabhidaha. This is what praised by Garuda Purana about Bhagavata Purana. What is Bhagavata Purana? According to Garuda Purana, Bhagavata Purana is Arthoyam Brahma Sutranam. There is a work called Brahma Sutra of Vyasa. What is Brahma Sutra? Brahma Sutra means Upanishads are there. You know, Upanishads means the heads of Vedas, the last parts of Vedas. Means from the feet, the last part is head. So Upanishads are considered as heads of Vedas. Upanishads are the sources of our philosophy. So all these Upanishads are framed by Vedavyasa in sutra form. Sutra means a small sentence with full of meaning. So that is considered as sutra, aphorism we say. So Brahma Sutras means all these Brahma Sutras give us the Upanishad knowledge, Upanishadic wisdom. So now Bhagavata is Brahma Sutranam Arthaha, the meaning of Brahma Sutras. We get the meaning of Brahma Sutras in Bhagavata. That is, whatever all Brahma Sutras say, that is said by Bhagavata. Bharata Artha Vinirnayaha. Not only that, Bhagavata is considered as Bharata Artha Vinirnayaha. This is also the what is the meaning of Mahabharata decided in Bhagavata. So what about Bharata? In the next lecture series, you may get the information about Bharata. Bharata is considered Yadihasti tadanyatra yannehasti natat kvachit. Whatever is there in Bharata, that only available everywhere. Brahma Sutranam, the Garuda Purana described Bhagavata Purana thus. Arthoyam Brahma Sutranam. Bhagavata is not limited to describe the story of Lord Krishna. It is considered as the last and final work of sage Vedavyasa. And it is the essence of all our spiritual literature. That is what described by Garuda. What it says, Arthoyam Brahma Sutranam. Bhagavata is considered as the meaning of all Brahma Sutras. Brahma Sutras discuss the Upanishadic wisdom. So that is the entire Upanishadic wisdom we get from Bhagavata. And Bharata Artha Vinirnayaha. Mahabharata, which consists 1 lakh stanzas, and where all human ends, that is dharma, artha, kama, and moksha, these 4 are considered as human ends. All these 4 are discussed in Mahabharata. Not only that, whatever is there in Mahabharata, that only is we depicted in all other books. And whatever is depicted in all other books, the entire thing is here in Mahabharata. That is what about Bharata. Bharata itself said that the greatness of Mahabharata. such Bharata's Artha Nirnaya means the decided Artha of Mahabharata is depicted in Bhagavata. Gayatri Bhashya Bhutosau. Not only that, Bhagavata considered as the commentary Bhashya of Gayatri Mahamantra. Vedartha Paribrumhitaha. Not only that, it is Vedartha, meaning of all the Vedas. In Pade Pade, Vakye Vakye, Shloke Shloke, Bhagavata itself said that in Bhagavata, in each word, in each sentence, in each poem, Vedartha is there. The meaning of Veda is depicted. अर्थोऽयं ब्रह्मसूत्राणां भारतार्थविनिर्णयः गायत्री भाष्यभूतोऽसौ वेदार्थपरिबृंहितः पुराणानां सारभूतः. Bhagavata is considered as Purananam Sarabhutaha. Sara means essence. So all the Sara of all Puranas is Bhagavata. Who said this? Sakshat Bhagavato Ditaha. First Bhagavata preached by Lord Narayana himself to his son Brahma, the creator of this universe, in 4 slokas. Then it was elaborated by sage Vyasa. That is what. So this is the Purana, the Bhagavata Purana, first preached by Lord Narayana. So Sakshat Bhagavato Ditaha Granthoštadasa Sahasraha. There are 18,000 slokas. What is the name of this Purana? Srimad Bhagavata Bhidaha. So the name of this Purana is Bhagavata. That is what Garuda Purana described about Bhagavata Purana. So like this, in 18 Mahapuranas, among 18 Mahapuranas, one is, that is Bhagavata considered as Purana Sara. We discussed about Purana Sara of Vidyaranya Swami. In Puranas itself, sage Vedavyasa himself said this in one of his Puranas, that is Garuda Purana, that Bhagavata is the Purana Sara. So knowingly or unknowingly, I think knowingly, not unknowingly, the entire country, the whole country of India influenced by Bhagavata. Bhagavata, see, there are 6 systems of philosophy, 6 schools of philosophy. Sankhya Yoga, Nyaya, Vaiseshika, Purva Mimamsa and Uttara Mimamsa. These are considered as Shat Darshanas, 6 philosophical schools, 6 schools of thought, philosophical thought. See, now all these, only 1 or 2 are in practiced by the people now, not other. No Sankhyas are now, no followers of Sankhya are there now, no followers of Nyaya, no, though they are studying Nyaya, but they are not the followers of Nyaya. Though people are studying, some people are studying Mimamsa, but they are not followers of Purva Mimamsa. Like that. But now, the followers of Advaita, the followers of Visishtadvaita, the followers of Dvaita, followers of Shuddhadvaita, followers of Dvaita Dvaita, followers of Achintya Bheda Bheda are now. Means these are the existing philosophies now in this country. Those philosophies, Sankhya, Yoga, Nyaya, Vaiseshika, they are there in books. Still people are studying well, but not practicing. People are practicing these schools of philosophies: Advaita, Visishtadvaita, Dvaita, Shuddhadvaita, Dvaitadvaita, Achintya Bheda Bheda. Advaita propagated by Sri Shankaracharya, Visishtadvaita by Sri Ramanujacharya, Dvaita by Sri Madhvacharya, Shuddhadvaita by Vallabhacharya, Sri Vallabhacharya, Dvaita by Sri Nimbarkacharya, Achincha Bheda by Sri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu. So now in India and abroad, whoever following this religion, Hindu religion, they are come under these schools of philosophy. So whatever may be the number, but now only these philosophies, and in one particular philosophy there are some other branches also there, but mainly these 6 philosophies are there. This ISKCON Bhakti Vedanta comes under so Chaitanya Mahaprabhu's school of thought, like that. So all included in these six schools of philosophy now. See, first Dvaita, the propagator of Dvaita philosophy, Sri Madhvacharya, wrote commentary on Bhagavata. Then other schools, scholars of other schools, they wrote commentaries. But what happened, based upon Bhagavata only, 3 schools of philosophy are followed by the people. Sri Vallabhacharya's philosophy fully based upon Bhagavata only, not on Vedas. They say Bhagavata is greater than Vedas. It fills to see some, which is not there in Vedas, that was filled by Bhagavata, they say. Similarly, Nimbarkacharya also depend upon Bhagavata only, not on Vedas. Similarly, the Chaitanya Mahaprabhu also depend upon Bhagavata only. In North India, particularly, Sri Vallabhacharya's followers, particularly in Gujarat, and Nimbarka Acharya's followers are in Rajasthan and in Mathura area of UP, and Chaitanya Mahaprabhu's followers are in Odisha and Bengal. So all these 3 schools are based upon Srimad Bhagavata only. That is one Mahapurana. I want to stress it. So one Mahapurana influenced majority of the people. So though there are many other Puranas, Bharata is there, Ramayana is there, but Bhagavata. In South also, Madhvacharya wrote this commentary on Bhagavata. First comment. He was the first commentator of Bhagavata. But here we have to see in a scientific manner that, see, all these great people, they are considering only some parts of Bhagavata. For example, there is a sentence in Mahabhagavata, Srimad Bhagavata, that is Krishnastu Bhagavan Swayam. Krishnastu Bhagavan Swayam. This is the Maha Mantra. This Vakya is Maha Mantra to all those schools belong to North India. They give great importance to that sentence. But Advaitins consider the whole Bhagavata. There are other commentators belong to the other philosophies. They wrote whatever is giving some support to their philosophy. They did like that. They omitted to other slokas. They are not given any commentary on that part. Simply they omitted, and they want to, they try to lead to their philosophy. They try to connect to their philosophy. But Advaitins wrote commentaries on full Bhagavata, particularly Sridhara Swami. Sridhara Swami wrote a commentary, though it is a commentary based upon Advaita philosophy, it is considered by all other schools, Chaitanya Mahaprabhu, Vallabhacharya, and Nimbarkacharya, all other great philosophers also respected Sridhara Swami's commentary, because Vyaso vetti, Shuko vetti, Raja vetti vanava, Sridhara sakalam vetti, Sri Nrsimha Prasadataha. There is a saying that Vyasa, whether Vyasa knows it or not, the author of Bhagavata knows or not the meaning of purport of Bhagavata. Sukha, but Vyasa knows, Sukha knows, because Vyasa is the author, Sukha preached Bhagavata to King Parikshit. But Raja Vettivanava, whether the king received properly or not, that we don't know. But there is one person, that is Sridhara Swami, the commentator of Bhagavata, Sakalam Vetti. He knows the entire Bhagavata. Without omitting a single letter, everything is known to him. See, why? Because Sri Nrsimha Prasadataha. He is a Nrsimha Upasaka. Because of by grace of Lord Nrsimha, he succeeded in getting the entire Tatparya, the purport of Bhagavata. That is what said. So, here in South India, you see the Alvars. The other day also we mentioned Alvars, particularly this Goda Andal. She sang this Tiruppavi, that is based upon Bhagavata only. Purandaradasa, the Karnataka Sangeetakara, Vagyayakara, he praised the Lord, he inspired by Bhagavata. Even in the Tyagaraja Kritis in Telugu, Bhagavata Ramayana, his mother taught Bhagavata to him. So daily Tyagaraja Swami doing Parayana of Bhagavata, Telugu Bhagavata, Potana Bhagavata, and he inspired by that he praised the Lord Rama in Kritis, in various, by composing various Kritis. So, Tyagaraja also inspired by Bhagavata. Like that, Narayaniyam is there in Kerala. So, Tamil Nadu, that Tiruppavai. Here in Potana Bhagavatam in Andhra Pradesh. Like that, Suradas is there in Vrajabhasha. Suradas also sang the Bhagavata story, and Mirabai. So, like this, Bhagavata's impact of Bhagavata is everywhere in this country. In Gujarat also, that is Dwarka is there because of Dwarka and other holy places. In UP, Mathura, Brindavan, Gokul, all these places. So, Bhagavata's impact is greater than any other Purana. So, like that, Bhagavata is praised. Not only that, Jayadeva in Bengal also, Jayadeva also, because there are Geetams in Bhagavata, Gopika Geetam, Shruti Geetam, Bhramara Geetam, like that Geetams are there. By those Geetams, he inspired Jayadeva, poet Jayadeva. He produced a great work called Geeta Govindam. And Geeta Govindam, that Raja of Puri, that is Jagannatha Kshetra, he inscribed one inscription. It was there on the main entrance of Sanctum Sanctorum of Lord Jagannatha at Puri, that in every upachara, at the time of worship of Lord Jagannatha, in each upachara, the Brahmins, some Brahmins are kept there, appointed to sing Jayadeva's Ashtapadis. So, by this, sage Sri Narayana Tirtha, inspired by this Jayadeva's Geeta Govindam, he produced Krishna Leela Tarangini in Sanskrit, and he himself trained people from 60 villages in Andhra Pradesh. In all, from all castes, there are disciples of Narayana Tirtha. Even today they are singing, they are continuing the tradition. Narayana Tirtha went to Tamil Nadu from Andhra. There he trained many disciples. They are also singing in Tamil Nadu near Tirupundurti, Nadukkaveri and some other places. So like this, everywhere this Krishna Katha based upon Bhagavata, it is all pervaded. So Purana's impact is there very much than any other works, than Vedas also. We can say there is no sin. If we say so, there is no sin because Puranas influenced much the people. Now, as I said, that um, some Puranas are named in the name of some Puranas, Mahapuranas and Upapuranas are also available. So Bhagavata is considered Puranasara, and all philosophical schools considered Bhagavata is authority to their school of philosophy, and they are all the philosophers are having great respect on Bhagavata, because whatever, see, particularly Bhagavata uh, is very important to Advaitins. Why? Because all these Advaita sannyasins, Ramakrishna Paramahamsa and others, Sadasiva Brahmendra also, inspired by this Bhagavata, he wrote many kritis, Gayati Vanamali, Madhuram Gayati Vanamali, like that many kritis are there. Even Jnanis also very much interested in Bhagavata, because Bhagavata says that Atma Rama hi Munayaha Nirgrantha ap Irukrame Kurvanti Ahitikim Bhaktim Itham Bhuta Guno Harihi. Though they are wise people, they are Jnanis, they also interested in Sagunamurti. Sagunamurti means the Lord with the form. They are, why? Because Bhagavata praised that Sagunamurti. They are all interested in Bhagavata. They are inspired by Bhagavata. So, and not only that, even our Kanchi Paramacharya once said that Bhagavata is his Hrudayam, his heart. Not only he, the Srungeri Shankaracharya, Chandrasekhar, contemporary of our Kanchi Shankaracharya, Paramacharya, Chandrasekharendra Saraswati Swamiji, there Chandrasekhara Bharati Swamiji, he is also always doing Parayana, he was doing Parayana of Bhagavata. That is what said by my Guru, Manikya Shastri Garu to me. So like that, Bhagavata is liked by many people, many great people. So, Ramakrishna Paramahamsa also daily seeing Bhagavata, it was said in, I read somewhere. So, Bhagavata attracted by almost all the great people. So, one Purana influenced the whole country, and not only whole country, in other countries also, even today, they are doing this Rasa Leelas and other Leelas in other countries also, in South Asian countries, particularly Ramayana is there, Bharata is there, even Bhagavata's Leelas are also there in various countries. So in that way, Bhagavata influenced our thought, our culture, our religion, our practices. Nowadays, we are doing vratas, pujas, and all these stotra parayanas, all these things. So we are getting all these things from Puranas only. From Markandeya Purana, we are getting Durga Saptasati. Durga Saptasati is very popular in Bengal and other parts of the country, where Shakti Puja is performed in Assam. So here also in South also we perform Chandi Yagams and others. So the source of all these Yagams and Parayanas, Markandeya Purana, the Durga Saptasati from Markandeya Purana, that is called Devi Mahatmya also. And this Satyanarayana Vratam, we say from Skande, Revakhande, from Skanda Purana it is there, this Kalpam, and how to perform Satyanarayana Vrata, why the Mahatmya, the greatness of, significance of Satyanarayana Vrata is there in Skanda Purana. So not only that, in Skanda Purana and in Padma Purana also, we have Masa Mahatmyas, Chaitra Masa Mahatmyam, Vaishakha Masa Mahatmyam, Jyeshta Masam, now particularly Kartika Mahatmyam. Here in this place, from where I am speaking, I am interacting with you, in my place, Kartika Puranam is very famous. Kartika Puranam, from Skanda Puranam, from Padma Puranam also. So like that, impact of Puranas is very much upon us. And, even though whether we know the mantras of Veda or not, but we know all these things from Puranas only. Tulasi Mahatmya, we all keep Tulasi in our house. So this is also because whether it is any mantra is there in any Veda or not, we don't know. But Tulasi Mahatmya is there in Puranas. Our ancestors from these Puranas only, they are knowing all this greatness of Purana. And they are performing Tulasi and Amalaka Puja and in Kartika Masa. And this semi puja we do during Navaratris. That also in Puranas only it is available. All these Dasara, this Dasara festival, the Alankaras and the puja, all these we are getting from Puranas only. Sri Ramanavami, how to perform Sri Ramanavami, how to do
Sir,
Krishnashtami, how to do Vinayak Chaviti, all these we are getting from Puranas only. In this way, whatever we are doing now, whatever stotra parayana, whatever pujas and whatever vratams we are doing, why we are going for pilgrimage and taking holy dips in nadis, everything said by Puranas. There are many things in Puranas discussed. So some some contents of various Puranas we discuss now. In the Brahma Purana, we find at the beginning a description of creation. It is stated to be caused by Vishnu, who is described as being one with Brahma and Shiva. The Purana then describes the oldest Manu Swayambhuva, his wife Satarupa, and Prajapatis. The successive Manvantaras are also described. The Purana speaks of various continents of the earth and also lokas, upper regions, Swarga and other lokas. It next deals with the sacred places of India, especially Utkala. So from Brahma Purana, we get Utkala. Utkala means Orissa. It praised. It deals with Utkala. Like that, in one Purana, Utkala means which consists Puri, Konark, and other places. Jajpur, there is a Shakti Kshetra. Viraja Nadi is there. So everything we get from Brahma Purana. Then next Padma Purana. Padma Purana has 5 parts. The first part, Srishti Khanda, tells how Brahma was born in the Padma. It then describes creation according to the Samkhya terminology. Its speciality is that Brahma is given a prominence which is absent in other Puranas. See, Padma Purana gives prominence to Brahma, but it is not there in other Puranas. It also extols the supremacy of Vishnu. And it states the importance of Shraddhas, especially at Gaya. So, like that. So, you see, if some Purana gives importance to some place, the researchers say that it is written by that part of people belong to that part. Like that, they say. See, this is not like that. As Vedas divided by Vyasa and he taught his disciples one shakha to each one of them studied one shakha, and he sent them to all the places, and they propagated that particular shakha there. Like that, he wrote all the Puranas, or he edited, and he taught to the students, to his disciples, and he sent like this. So they propagated in that particular place. But now the modern researchers are saying that this belongs to that place, and it was written by those scholars belong to that place. Like that, they say. See, this is not the proper way. They see our beliefs be like that. We believe like that because in every religion there are so many beliefs, but our is very systematic and scientific. So Padma Purana describes Gaya. And then Vishnu Purana narrated by Parashara, to his disciple Maitreya. It is divided into 6 parts, and each was subdivided into many chapters. It gives the importance. Part gives an account of creation. First part gives an account of creation, which is attributed to Purusha and Prakriti. The Vishnu is Paramatman described to create the universe so that the souls might perform their karma and attain moksha. That is what described here in this Vishnu Purana. See, in Vishnu Purana, finally, sage Vedavyasa, or the author of Vishnu Purana, declared some judgments, final judgments. What he declared? Kalisadhuhu, Sutrasadhuhu, Yoshitsadhuhu. At the end of Vishnu Purana, the author of Vishnu Purana said that Kalisadhuhu, this Kali is good time. Kali is auspicious time. What? Kali means bad time. And Kali means cheating. In this time, how it is described as good time? Because in Kali Yuga, if we commit a sin, then only we get a sin. If we think of a sin, it will not give any harm to us. Like that, if we think of good work, I will do that good work, then by that wish itself, we get punyam. But we commit a sin, then only we get the sin. This is what the greatness of Kali Yuga. So Kali is very nice time. So it is easy to get the grace of Lord in this Yuga. So the marga is in Kali. Which marga is better than any other marga? There are 3 margas: karma marga, bhakti marga, and jnana marga. Bhakti reva kalau yuge. In Kali Yuga, bhakti is the only way. That was preached by Bhagavata. There is a classification of bhakti. There are many types now, 9 types of bhakti, but each one is good. We can adapt any one of those nine bhaktis. That is why Bhagavata's popularity, because of it is considered as Bhakti Shastra, so it became popular. Now, Brahmavaivarta Purana. Brahmavaivarta Purana in 4 parts gives a detailed description of Sri Krishna and Radha. So, this Radha episode is described in Brahmavaivarta Purana. Particularly, Brahmavaivarta Purana gives the Radha, about Radha. So, those who are interested, those who are the bhaktas of Radha Krishna, they treat by Brahmavaivarta Purana as greater than any other book, that is even to Veda, because there is Radha Krishna Bhakti, that Yugala Upasana, Radha Krishna Upasana in North India. They treat Brahmavaivarta Purana is greater than any other Purana. Now, the Vayu Purana. Vayu Purana is a highly interesting and important work dealing obviously with the following topics: creation and recreation of the universe, measurement of time, origin of Agni, Varuna and other gods, origin and descendants of Atri, Bhrigu, Angiras and other sages, demons, Rakshasas, Gandharvas and Pitrus, origin of lower animals, birds, trees and creepers, genealogies of ancient kings descended from Vaivaswata Manu and Ila, and kings of Kali Yuga ending with Guptas of Magadha have been discussed. So Vayu is very interested, a highly interesting Purana. And then Naradiya Purana. Naradiya Purana is a Vaishnava work, consists of 2 parts, of which the first incorporates the entire Brihannaradiya Purana. There is another Purana, Brihannaradiya. So this Naradiya and Brihannaradiya somehow same, but some differences are there. So one is considered as Mahapurana, the another one is Upapurana. So then Vayupurana is highly interesting and important work dealing copiously with the following topics: creation and recreation of the universe, measurement of time. Measurement of time means what? See, we are measuring the time as day, one day. One day consists of 24 hours from Suryodaya to Suryodaya. See, in your country, you start, you start your dates, date starts with 12 a.m. in the night. But here we consider Udayad Udayam Varaha, means from sunrise to sunrise, one day. For us, from sunrise to sunrise, not night 12 o'clock. So we cannot consider it. During the night time, we cannot consider. Suryodaya is the main thing for us. So how we calculate 24 hours? See, you may say that 24 hours, but we never say so. In some days, we are getting 26 hours also. In some days, 22 hours only. Like that, depend upon the Suryodaya to Suryodaya, sunrise to sunrise. We count the day. So like that, the measurement of time, that was also discussed. So this is helpful to do the Panchangams and all other Ganita topics. Origin of Agni, Varuna and other gods. Origin of descendants of Atri, Bhrigu, Angiras and other sages. Demons. Who are the demons? Rakshasas. How Rakshasas happened? Gandharvas and Pitrus. Origin of lower animals, birds, trees and creepers. Genealogies of ancient kings descended from Vaivaswata Manu, ending with the Guptas of Magadha in Kali Yuga. So all these things are discussed by Vayu Purana. Then Brahmanda Purana. Brahmanda Purana is very famous Purana, because nowadays many people are reciting the Lalita Sahasranama. Lalita Sahasranama from Brahmanda Purana only. So Brahmanda Purana is that Lalitopakhyan, one great Upakhyan, great part is there in Brahmanda Purana. That is that describes Kanchi Kamakshi also. So because of that, this Brahmanda Purana is considered as pious one and sacred one. Naradiya Purana, a Vaishnava work. See, we have Bhakti Sutras, because Narada is a great sage. Narada only initiated Valmiki and Vyasa to write Ramayana and Bhagavata respectively. So wherever any great work should be produced, there Narada appears and he initiates Valmiki and Vyasa and other great people. So Narada, so about Narada and all the related Vishnu Bhakti topics are discussed in Naradiya Purana. And then Bhagavata already we discussed, and Matsya Purana. This Matsya Purana is also very great Purana. In Matsya Purana, we are getting Anukramanis. As I mentioned, in Bhagavata Purana also, it is there Purana Anukramani. What is Purana Anukramani? Means index of that Purana, particular Purana. In Matsya Purana, all 18 Mahapuranas index are there. So all indexes are in Matsya Purana. So because of that, you cannot interpolate the slokas. Yesterday, that fellow, that Ballala Sena said that in Dhanasagara, some chapters are taken from one Purana to give those topics here in this Purana. Like that, we cannot change the Purana. because of Anukramanikas are there. If you want to change that particular part, the same matter from one Purana should be taken. Otherwise, it could not be done. So, Purana Anukramani, in that way, these Puranas are protected by the authors. Author means sage Veda Vyasa. So, no one can put his poem into this Purana, and it cannot be taken away from this Purana. So, Puranas are very systematically arranged or written, produced by those sages, and all Anukramanis means the list of all chapters, names of all chapters, whatever is discussed, the contents, everything for all 18 Puranas are depicted here in Matsya Purana. So Matsya Purana is very important for researchers about Puranas. And then Kurma Purana. Kurma Purana, as the name itself indicates, was narrated by Lord Vishnu to his in his incarnation as the tortoise at the time of churning of the milky ocean by Devas and Asuras, who were in quest of the immortalizing nectar. It starts with a discourse on the concept of Maya as a potent tool in hands of the Supreme Being to work out his scheme of creation. The same concept, when not well handled by the ordinary mortals, becomes the cause of degradation and illusion. The well-known 5 items that should invariably form parts of Purana have all been faithfully represented in Kurma Purana. So Kurma Purana, the second part of the Purana, this Kurma Purana, starting from the 54th chapter, contains metaphysical speculations, and the main theme is Advaita. So Advaita Siddhanta discussed in Kurma Purana particularly. Then Markandeya Mahapurana. Already we discussed about Devi Mahatmya, that is Durga Saptasati, but we have to know about Markandeya Purana. This Markandeya Purana is very interesting Purana. Why? Because the Markandeya Purana begins with the story of the 4 birds that were acquainted with the moral notions of right and wrong. The Markandeya Purana begins with the story of 4 birds that were acquainted with the moral notions of right and wrong. Everything is narrated fully by the sage Markandeya through these birds when approached by Jaimini for instructions on 4 questions. The birds were sons of Drona and the Apsarasas Vapu, who were cursed by Rishi Durvasa to be birds, and narrated the story of their birth and their education by Samika, and explained that they were 4 Brahmins who were so born because cursed by their father for not offering their bodies as food to a hungry bird. The celestial birds are represented as answering the following questions. How was Vishnu born as a mortal? How Draupadi became the wife of the 5 Pandavas? Why did Baladeva undertake penance for Brahminhood? And why were the children of Draupadi destroyed when they had Krishna and Arjuna to defend them? So such questions are posed by these birds, and answers are also given. So Markandeya Purana is very interesting. It looks like with modern approach, how now people are posing questions when they listen our Puranas. The same questions in those days through birds asked by those birds, and all those questions were answered in this Markandeya Purana. So in this aspect, Markandeya Purana is very interesting. So if you guys are interested, so you should read this Markandeya Purana, particularly then Vamana Mahapurana, where the avatar of Vamana, avatar of Vishnu described, and then Bhavishya Mahapurana. Bhavishya Mahapurana is given an important place among the major Puranas. The Matsya Purana says, Matsya Purana praised this Bhavishya Purana. As Garuda Purana described Bhagavata, here the Matsya Purana praised Bhavishya Mahapurana. The Purana in which Brahma described the greatness of the sun. Here the sun, Mahatmya of sun, because in our religion we do Panchayatana Puja. Adityam, Ambikam, Vishnum, Gananatham, Maheshwaram, Kaumaram, Subramanya. Shanmatas are there. Shankaracharya titles, in Shankaracharya's titles, there is a title called Shanmata Sthapanacharya. What are the Shanmatas? Aditya, Ambika, Vishnu, Gananatha, Maheshwara, and Kaumara. Kaumara means Subramanya. So, in this Bhavishya Mahapurana, because we worship sun, the greatness of sun is described. And the existence of the Aghora Kalpa, that is called Bhavishya Manu, the stories being for the most part of events of future period. The stories being for the most part of events of the future period. So future period, events of future period are discussed in Bhavishya Mahapurana. It was praised by Matsya Purana. And then Agni Mahapurana. Agni Mahapurana is also a great Purana. It is so named because it originated as a composition in praise of Agni, a form of Vishnu. So Agni Purana is like an encyclopedia. It discusses all the related issues of Alankara Shastra, that is Sahistya Shastra, means literature. So everything, whatever is there in literature, what we say, the Lakshana Shastra, the Alankaras means figures of speech and all other related issues of poetics that was available with Agni Purana. That is available with Agni Purana. Then Agni Purana discusses about the worship of Vasudeva, Samkarshana, Pradyumna, and Aniruddha, and Narayana. This is like Pancharatra Siddhanta. But the word Pancharatra is nowhere mentioned in this Purana. Nowhere mentioned. The word Pancharatra is nowhere mentioned. But whatever is there in Pancharatra Siddhanta, that was described in this Agni Purana. So whatever we following the Sampradaya, that is Pancharatra, Vaikhanasa, Shakteya Sampradaya, Smarta Sampradaya, all these Sampradaya, all these matters of these Sampradayas are all available from these Puranas. And medicine is the subject, the medicine also, about medicine also discussed in Agni Purana. And poetry, next sentiments, Navarasas, Shrungara Rasa, Veera Rasa, Karuna Rasa, these dancers, they are with their Abhinaya, they show us all these rasas, Navarasas, Navarasa Bharitam, they say. All these rasas are discussed in Agni Purana. And then Skanda Mahapurana. This Skanda Mahapurana, Skanda Purana's contribution to history and archaeology of ancient India is geographical information found in Bhuvanakosha sections as well as in the numerous Mahatmyas of several regions and other stories dealing with the pilgrimages and other religious and social episodes. The longest list of countries and peoples of India is, however, contained in Skanda Purana. Skanda Purana is a valuable source of ancient Indian geography. Kedarakhanda and Badrikashrama Mahatmya throws immense light on the Himalayan region, which is also mentioned in the Arunachala Mahatmya. Similarly, Kasi Khanda and Ayodhya Mahatmya are important for the topography of Uttar Pradesh. Purushottama Kshetra Mahatmya is apparently associated with the Prachya, particularly Kalinga. Avanti Khanda is very important for the geography of Malwa, Gujarat, and Rajasthan. And along with Nagara as well as Prabhasa Khandas are important for the topography of Western India. Setu and Venkatachala Mahatmyas present the picture of South India. Navabheda tradition of Kurma Nivesha section is also mentioned in Skanda. Thus, Skanda Purana, comprising innumerable Mahatmyas, is one of the most important and comprehensive work for the study of ancient Indian geography. To the historian of ancient India, the Puranas are an unfailing source of information. They help us to reconstruct the history of Indian culture and civilization. So, Skanda Purana is very, very important. Those who are interested in Tirtha Yatras, and there are two works of the same name, Skanda Mahapurana and Skanda Upapurana. Here we are concerned with the former, means we are discussing about Mahapurana only, not Skanda Purana contains 7 khandas. Maheshwara Khanda, Vishnu Khanda, Brahma Khanda, Kasi Khanda, Avantya Khanda, Nagara Khanda, and Prabhasa Khanda. Not only that, one interesting thing is there. In Skanda Purana, some Samhitas are there. Among those Samhitas, one is Suta Samhita. Suta Samhita is very famous for Advaitins. It is very important work because there is a commentary on Suta Samhita part only by Vidyaranya Swami. And not only that, Shankaracharya, Adi Shankara, studied 18 times. After studying 18 times of Suta Samhita, he wrote Brahma Sutra Bhashya. It is there in Vyasa Tatparya Nirnaya by Ayyanna Dikshita. When Ayyanna Dikshita, he said that Shankaracharya studied 18 times Suta Samhita. Then he wrote Brahma Sutra Bhashya. That is Sharirika Mimamsa Bhashya. So, how Puranas are important for whatever the systems, philosophical systems are existed today. For these philosophical systems are also Puranas are very important. That is why Vidyaranya Swami wrote a great commentary on Suta Samhita part of Skanda Purana, because it is the whole encyclopedia of Advaita philosophy. That Suta Samhita part. Based upon Suta Samhita only, Shankaracharya wrote Bhashya. Like that, some Bodhayana Vritti, Ramanujacharya, based upon Bodhayana Vritti, which he got from Kashmir, they say, the followers of Ramanujacharya, he wrote his Sri Bhashya. Like that, one book is their particular book of the particular book as a source of the particular philosophy. So, in that way, Skanda Purana is very important. So then, and then Devi Bhagavata also considered as one of Mahapuranas, and Devi Bhagavata is very popular. And now, whatever these Sri Vidya related issues we get from Devi Bhagavata, and as I said, from Markandeya Purana and Brahmanda Purana also. So, in that way, whatever we are following now in the way in the form of festivals and whatever we are doing, pujas and tirthayatras, everything we are depend upon these Puranas only. So with the Purana, whatever the knowledge given by the Puranas, our religion is like this. So we can say that our religion is Puranic religion. Now we are following the religion preached by the Puranas. So though Puranas are based upon Vedas only, some may ask, see, after reading of all these Puranas, some may get that some Veda Viruddha Amshas are there in Purana. Means what? Some statements are there in Puranas. They are not supported by Vedas. So what to do? Then what to do? Vidyaranya said in his Purana Sara, see, there may be some statements which are not supported by Vedas. You should not follow those statements. You leave those things and you follow only whichever is supported by Veda. So whenever you see that some Veda Viruddha Amsha means which is not supported by Veda, which is against Veda, you never follow that and you leave, though it is said in that sacred book, but if it is supported by Veda, then only you have to follow. That is what decided by the great people. So with this, I want to stop here my lecture, my session. So now you may ask your queries and I'll try to clarify.
Is the essence of all these Puranas.
Yes.
But sir, I have one doubt.
Hmm.
In this Bhagavatam,
Hmm.
most of the times it was majority of the Bhagavatam, it talks about Lord Sri Krishna and from childhood to all his miracles and all which was described in it.
Hmm.
But if it is the essence of all these Puranas, then in the Bhagavatam, not much of mention about Lord Shiva.
You said the story of Krishna is described in one skandha, only in Dasama skandha, not in full Bhagavata. See, there are 12 parts in Bhagavata, 18,000 slokas are there. Out of those 12 parts, only one part, that is the 10th book, that is Dasama skandha, only describes Krishna Leelas. The rest of Bhagavata discussed all other issues where all these philosophies and Bhugola, about Bhugola and Khagola, everything discussed. So whatever discussed by all other Puranas, the whole thing is depicted in Bhagavata. So you see, I think whether you are studied Bhagavata or not, I don't know, but all people think that Bhagavata means Lord Krishna's story, but it is only in 10th part of Bhagavata, but in other parts everything is discussed. And about Shiva, see, in Bhagavata there are places which praises Shiva also, but see, in Shiva Purana, Shiva is the god, and Bhagavata, this Narayana or Krishna praised. Why? Because, well, see, in our religion, we say that God is one God. So one rupa, one form and name is given. Those who like that form and that name, they utter that name and they are interested in that form. So there is no, that is why the commentator of Bhagavata wrote one shloka. While commenting that Bhagavata, what he said, Madhavo Madhava Vishau. Madhava plus Umadhava. Madhava means Ma means Lakshmi. Madhava means husband, consort of husband of Lakshmi. That is Lord Vishnu. Umadhava. Umadhava means Uma means Parvati. Dhava means husband. Husband of Uma. That is Parvati's husband. That is Lord Shiva. Madhava, Umadhava, Ishav. There are two gods. Madhava, Umadhava. People think that like that. Madhava is there, Umadhava is there. Sarva Shakti Vidhayinau. And Madhava and Umadhava both gives all the powers. Whatever power we want to get, they can give those powers. Vande Parasparatmanau. I bow to them they are see, the soul of Narayana Madhava is Umadhava. Soul of Umadhava is Madhava. Parasparatmano means see, their Atma is same. Though their bodies are different, as you see, but their Atma, their soul is one. And Paraspara Nuti Priyav. If you praise Narayana, Shiva pleases. If you praise Shiva, Vishnu pleases. That is what their oneness. So this is what said by Madhava Swami, and it was appreciated by all schools of Bhakti Sampradayas and all those acharyas. That is why it is there in Bhagavata. So we have to study properly.
Namaskar, Ramakrishna Garu.
Namaskar.
At the end of your talk, you said, no, we should only follow what Veda says, and
yes,
anything that is not said in Vedas, we should not follow, which is correct, and that's very good, definitely.
Yes.
But my question is, why have these other religions, other traditions, Christianity, Muslim, how and why have these appeared? Because at one time, everyone followed Sanatana Dharma, everyone followed what Veda says. How have these things come about?
See, but this is God's sankalpa only. God's, as even Christians also say that your will be done. So according to God's will, all these appeared, but we because we are human beings, God created us with intelligence, with brain and heart. So we have to judge which is good and which is not. So and follow the good one. So luckily we are born in this dharma, Sanatana Dharma. So we study in a scientific manner our dharma and follow with wholeheartedly. If you follow, definitely we will reach our goal. This is convincing answer only because
sir, I'm saying short and convincing, but in a
Yes.
lengthy and convincing argument, we can do it in later. I'm saying that.
You provide later. Okay.
Yeah. Okay.
Namaste, Guruji. I have a question. This is basically the one who worship Guru as a god. So, in among the Mahapuranas that you have mentioned, so which of these Mahapuranas describe the focus more on the Gurus as the prime god? Just like you mentioned that for Shiva there is different, for Narayana there is a different, like that.
In Bhagavata, Ekadasha Skandha, there is a discussion about these gurus. One Avadhuta says that with Yedu Maharaja, Yedu Avadhuta Samvada, we say it, Yedu Avadhuta Samvada, I have 32 gurus. In this entire creation, I have gurus. This he mentioned many things from this nature. So many gurus. I learned from this one. Like that he mentioned. So importance of guru is discussed in Bhagavata also, and that is why Lord Krishna went to Gurukula to study Vedas, to Sandipani's ashram. There they described about Guru. So everywhere Guru Vachana and Guru Smarana, Guru importance of Guru is described. So, but we have to see, particularly in Datta Purana, one Upa Purana is there, Datta Purana, there Guru Mahatmya is described, fully described.
Yeah, Sri Gurubhyo Namaha. Thank you, Guruji, for wonderfully explaining all the details, Ramakrishna Garu and Sarma Garu. So I have a question regarding this. Recently, like a lot of people, right? They're following and pray Shirdi Sai Baba, Sat Sai Baba, all these as the gods, they're praying them. So is it acceptable in our, the Sanatana Dharma, or how we can see that one,
See,
Ramakrishna Garu, I just want to say for you, actually we had a section on the Guru Parampara. In that it is a lengthy way we explained it, what is a guru and what is the significance and what are the characteristics and how supposed to be a guru. So it is like we given it complete thing. It is again left it to the person who is a Vijnata, that is whoever. That is the one part we say that is, but yeah, still Ramakrishna garu, I'll request to answer that more.
How siddhas. Siddha means Siddha Purushas. They are having some siddhi. That is why they are becoming crowd pullers, and the followers are many people are going after them, and they are worshipping them only, considering as their guru and their daivam. So no problem. But if those gurus are really gurus, then no problem. And, that is acceptable. But simply if they are they are in disguise of gurus, then it is it may harm us.
In fact, like in our Guru Parampara, we clearly explain that is who having the Parampara,
Yes.
the gurus, and are the best ones who can just to follow. And the
Yes.
second, we also said like they are almost like they fit into the kind of a Veda and
Yes.
Upanishad and our Bhagavata Puranas and all. So
Yes.
I hope that answers.
What exactly the difference between Siddha yogis and gurus?
Okay.
See, Siddha Yogi means those who are yoga bhrashtas. Yoga bhrashtas means those who are practicing to attain siddhi, that is means Brahma Bhava, we say Paramatma Bhava or the Mukti. If they fail in reaching that point, they will be called yoga bhrashtas. Again, they will born. So those yoga bhrashtas, because of their siddhis, because almost they reached, but not fully. So they from the childhood they will they can show the good path, and they are in that bhava only, and they show the path, good path to others also. They are called siddhas. We can serve them, and if they are good in guidance, then we can follow. No problem. But as Sharma Garu said, if they are if they are coming in the traditional order, then it is useful. Otherwise, it will not be useful according to our shastras.
Matsya Purana, you said there is it is gives us a guidance to that is how it is not altered in other Puranas. It controls that.
Yes.
But what is it like? Is it a first people have to read that part first before, or what is it like? How that is Purana reading is given at order like?
If anyone feels that it is not related to this Purana, any doubt, then you go to Matsya Purana and you see the Anukramani. Anukramani means that list of contents, that is index. Then it is properly arranged, or any other changes are there, then you proceed. For that, you can refer Matsya Purana.
Bhavishya Purana, it is a Bhavishya, right?
Yes.
And it is the future it is going to give it.
Yes.
Is it a given to up to, I think it is Avatara, and then how that is it given all our present issues also, like how it is going in a life and other things and all in detail, or in a brief or a highlight kind of?
Whatever the sage wants to give us, that was given. See, not everything day-to-day incidents. So whatever is important related to our dharma, if dharma patana happens, what will happen? Then Lord will come to clear that. So that is what mentioned there. So that is so. With that, it is called Bhavishya Purana. Like that, not daily whatever happens. That is not.
No, I'm not questioning that.
5th Rama Janmabhoomi Shilanyas will happen. Not like that. This is not a prediction, just as astrologers gives predictions. Not like that. Some important things which the sage feels important, which should be given, he thought that those things only discussed.
Even Buddhavataram is mentioned in
Yes, mentioned.
Buddha Avatara and all these other religions.
Yes, Jaina religion mentioned, Buddha religion mentioned. But
About the Upapuranas, right? So
yes.
you have mentioned 18 Mahapuranas and then there are Upapuranas. Is there a list of these Upapuranas somewhere in these Mahapuranas, or they have come out later on? Because has Vedavyasa himself written all these things, or somebody else wrote it like addendums, appendix to the Veda, Puranas?
Good question. See, these Upapuranas lists are so given in Puranas. The Upapuranas also 18 as given in Puranas. But these 18 Puranas lists are different lists are available. Not only one list. According to those lists, names are also different. And whether all these Upapuranas are written by Vyasa and some other great people means there are other great people also as authors of Upapuranas, not only Vedavyasa.
And what would be the time frame, as in the Bhavish? All the other Puranas mentioned till Kalki Avatara, right? The Kali Yuga. So these Puranas, the Datta Purana that you have mentioned, and the other the Upapuranas. So have they come up later? As in later time.
Some are contemporary of these Mahapuranas. Some are the later Puranas are also there. According up to 7th century or 8th century only, all these Puranas were written. Later on, no Puranas are written. So because they are all old now, after that Kavyas and other works are existed. So all these Puranas and Upapuranas are before Kavya period. And one more I want to mention here, the entire literature classified into 3 parts: Veda, Purana, and Kavya. In Sanskrit literature, there are the Sanskrit literature classified into 3: Veda, Purana, and Kavya. Veda is like order of Lord, and Purana is the like word of friend, and this Kavya is a word of Priya, beloved one. Like the, so Purana is considered as friend. So it preaches as in a friendly manner. All of you please try to study the original works. That means you study Sanskrit well. Don't stop with 10 days Samskrita Sibiram. You continue Sanskrit learning, and you acquire good knowledge of Sanskrit, and then you try to read the original Puranas. You yourself read, and then you all doubts will be cleared. No doubts, and you will get the real knowledge from Puranas.
Even our Swami also go to the original source. So just learn to the original source. We have to, even he given us as a task, that is we have to move all the participant in a future towards Sanskrit, and then they should learn the original source so that they will get not depend on translations. Skanda Purana is giving a lot of details about our geographic temples, and then culture in around the temples, and then it also mentions that is a
inch of our country. It is given the greatness of each inch of our land, our holy. It describes the whole country is a holy land.
This is a demography of the complete at the Vyasa time period. Nepal.
Yeah, Nepal
present days Afghanistan. There are any some kshetras mentioned it in this.
All these Hingula in Pakistan, Kashmir, Sharada, Amarnath, Nepal, Mahatmya, everything is there in Skanda. Entire Bharatavarsha is described.
Can we define it? What is a Bharatavarsha so that the people who are the participant can understand that is exactly what is the Bharatavarsha? How it is from where to where kind of?
Now Bharatavarsha means we are from Kashmir to Kanyakumari only, but it was divided 9 times. We know 2 times this India, Pakistan, and then Pakistan into Bangladesh. So twice it was divided in our time, but before that 7 times it was divided. So the whole world is like Bharatavarsha in those days. The only one country was there. The entire entire kingdom comes under the rule of Indian kings only, Indian emperors only. It is what described Kalidasa and other great sages. Kalidasa says in Raghuvamsha that between the 4 oceans, whatever is there, that was ruled by the kings of India. So now oceans are in 3 sides only. One side Himalayas. So after Himalayas, where the ocean is there, up till then, up to that, our country.
Okay,
So,
okay.
Afghanistan also included Burma, Thailand, Cambodia, all these places, this Mauritius, Sri Lanka, not subcontinent, the entire Asia maybe comes under this country. So whatever is existed, Iran is called Sumeru. So Persia, all these places are Vedic lands only. Their Vedic learning was there, according to our sources. Though China is there separately, but all those Chinese scholars, they came to India for study. Nalanda to Takshashila and to Amaravati, they studied here, and what they studied, Ayurveda they studied here, they studied philosophy, all our Vedic learning also they studied, and those things are recorded in their Chinese pilgrims works.
From Nepal, there was a news stating that Rama belongs to us.
Yes.
So he has not born in Ayodhya.
No problem. Even in Thailand also, the people say that Rama belongs to us. And the king of Thailand is considered as Rama. Before the king Atulya Tej, he was the 9th Rama. The present king of Thailand is considered as the 10th Rama. They say that our king is Rama, our Rajya is Rama Rajya. So in the entire the Asian subcontinent, people, they have Rama's story, and from here only people migrated to that part and they worshipped Rama, and later on the locals also starting worship of Rama, and they feel that Rama is ours, and they established Ayodhya there, and even in Thailand there is Ayodhya, and they say this is Sanjeevi Parvata's place, this is the Sita's place. Like that, they show us everywhere that is there. But here in Nepal, the birthplace of Sita is there, that we accept, and we and Nepalis both accept. But they also accept. All the scholars belong to Nepal, though all they studied in Kashi and other places, they will settle there, and they accept Ayodhya is the birthplace of Rama. And every year some procession starts from Ayodhya to Sita's place. During Rama's Kalyana Samaya, the time of Rama's marriage, some Bharat, they say Bharat, that Bharat starts from Ayodhya to Janakpuri. Even today, that is going on, that custom is going on. So living customs are there, living practices are there. Simply for political some other benefit, they stated like that. We have to ignore such things. We should not consider those things.
Namaskar, Mandi.
Yeah, please go ahead.
పురాణాల్లో వేదాలకి విరుద్ధంగా ఉన్న స్టేట్మెంట్స్ ఉన్నాయన్నారు. అది ఒకటో రెండో ఎగ్జాంపుల్స్ ఇవ్వగలరా?
పురాణాల్లో వేద విరుద్ధాంశాలు అంటే ఏమిటంటే ఈ శివ విష్ణు భేదం చెప్పడం. కొన్ని చోట్ల శివుడే గొప్ప, విష్ణువు గొప్ప, ఇలాంటివేవో కొన్ని. అంటే ఏమిటి, ఆ భక్తులకి అంటే ఆయా దేవతల మీద ఒక దేవతని ఆరాధించే పద్ధతిలో చెప్పడం జరిగింది. దేవుడు ఒకడే అని చెప్పడంలో ఉద్దేశం. అందువల్ల అలాంటి విషయాలు చెప్పడం జరిగింది. అది మనకి చూడటానికి వేద విరుద్ధంగా కనపడుతుంది. అలాగే కొన్ని చోట్ల ఈ యాగాల మీద వేదాలు చెప్పిన యాగాలు, యజ్ఞయాగాలు ఉన్నాయి, వాటన్నింటినీ కూడా ఖండించిన స్థలాలు ఉన్నాయి. అప్పుడు మనం ఏం తీసుకోవాలి? పురాణాల్లో ఉన్నది తీసుకోవాలా, వేదం చెప్పింది తీసుకోవాలా అంటే వేదం చెప్పిందే తీసుకోవాలి, పురాణం చెప్పింది తీసుకోకూడదు అనేది నిర్ణయం. అంటే సోమయాగాలు ఇలాంటివి ఉన్నాయి, అగ్నిహోత్రం చేయడానికి సంబంధించినవి, అక్కడ పశువధ అది ఉంటుంది, అందువల్ల అది చేయొచ్చా పనికిరాదా అంటే వేదం ఏం చెప్తే అది ఫాలో అవ్వాలి కానీ పురాణం చెప్పింది ఫాలో అవ్వకూడదు. ఉదాహరణ ప్రాచీన బరిహి ఉపాఖ్యానం అని భాగవతంలో ఒక కథ ఉంది. ఆ ప్రాచీన బరిహి ఎప్పుడు యాగాలు చేస్తూ ఉంటాడు, నిరంతరం యాగాలు చేస్తూ ఉంటాడు. దాని మీదే ఆయనకి శ్రద్ధ, మరొక దాని మీద లేదు. అలాంటి చోట అటువంటి విషయాన్ని నిందించేటువంటి పద్ధతి ఉంది. అది కానీ అది వేదానికి విరుద్ధమా, వేదానికి వ్యతిరేకమా, వేదానికి సమర్థకమా అంటే అది చూసి వేదానికి సమర్థింపు ఎక్కడుంటే దాని వరకే తీసుకోవాలి. వేదానికి విరుద్ధంగా చెప్పింది ఏదైనా అట్లా అనిపిస్తే దాన్ని మనం కన్సిడర్ చేయకూడదు.
Yeah, for the benefit of others, I think I'm not going to translate complete thing, but what he asked is there any references in Purana that is against the Vedas? Ramakrishna Garu said there are a couple of things about the yajnas. If some yajnas are not mentioned or something is altered, the way of process and procedures in Purana, but we have to go and look for the Vedas, whatever it procedure and process and everything it explains, we have to follow the Veda instead of whatever the Purana says. I think that is what he claimed.
So I thank Sri Sharma Garu and all the participants who are patiently listened my words, and I thank one and all.
We have to thank Swamiji for everything, all this, and